Hello. I hope to be a little more encouraging today, but Watchtower's made one or two claims I'd like to address first. Now, their claim is that if we complain about their misuse of money, then we will end up being traitors, as Judas Iscariot was. Now, first of all, if Watchtower is misusing money, then we should complain, because as it says in Ezekiel chapter 9, people in those days, some were deploring and disapproving of the things that were happening in Jerusalem. Now, in my case, Watchtower went to court and spent thousands on barristers and a solicitor. It must have been over 50,000, if not more. Now, they didn't need to spend that money, because if they had come to me and said, look, we realise that we've breached human rights, our policies are not correct, either from the law of the land or from the scriptures, if they had put things right, I would have said, that's fine, that's all I need. I just didn't want them causing the same problems for anybody else. I didn't want their money. So if they had done the right thing, they wouldn't have had to have spent those thousands of euros on a court case. So I'm complaining about it. But let's have a look at Judas Iscariot and see, was he complaining about the misuse of money? And they take it from John chapter 12. And this is the account of Mary, who had this expensive perfumed ointment that she anointed Jesus with. Now, this was wonderful for Jesus because it was balm, a little bit of solace in considering what he was going to have to go through. But Judas, as the book of John records, John chapter 12 and verse 5, why wasn't this ointment sold for 300 denarii and the money given to the poor? Now, was he complaining about the misuse of money? Well, John goes on to say that Judas said this not because he cared about the poor. He wasn't the slightest bit bothered about the poor. But because he was a thief, he was in charge of the common fund and used to help himself to the contributions. Judas was quite happy with the way Jesus was using money because he was the one that was in control of it. In fact, Jesus wasn't bothered about money at all. And during his last few days, they were sleeping rough on the Mount of Olives. They weren't using money in any bad way. So with Judas, it wasn't being disgruntled that caused him the problems. It was because he developed a love of money. The lure of riches ensnared him, and it pushed out any hope, any love for God that he had in his heart. The love of money superseded everything, and so he betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver just because he wanted the money. And even Jesus was shocked at what he did, because in Luke chapter 22 and verse 48, it's where it comes that Jesus was approached by Judas and a number of other men, and Judas kissed him. And Jesus said, Judas, are you betraying the Son of Man with a kiss? Even Jesus was shocked at that. Now, Judas wasn't a spiritual person at all. He didn't have any love of God in him at all. Now, this is important because in John chapter 14, in fact, it's a theme of John's writings, as it is said in verse 20, on that day you will understand that I am in my Father, and you in me, and I in you. Now, what did he mean that we are in God and Jesus and that they are in us? Well, obviously they're in our hearts. We love them dearly. But it's a bit more than that, because if we go on to verse 23, Jesus said, if anyone loves me, he will keep my word, and my Father will love him, and we shall come to him and make our home with him. So God and Jesus are part of our family. They are our family. Now, if we have a family, then everything we do, the shopping, the cleaning, the work, etc., it's with our family in mind. And so it is with God and Jesus. Everything we do is with their hopes, their loves, their likes taken into account. Everything we do takes into account what God would like us to do. They are with us all the time, which is of great comfort because they are there to help us. They know how we feel, they know what struggles we're going through, and they will be with us. So God wasn't with Judas, but he will be with us. Thank you so much for watching this morning, and take care.